Powered by Riverside.
Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of BJB Banner Today. Happy Friday to everybody. A very odd Friday in the Creighton sports calendar where, we don't have a game, either men's or women's, look forward to on the weekend. So it's kind of a different feel. Be the only time all season this will happen. So thanks for joining us. Make sure and hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out so much. Thank you to everybody that's watched these shows. We've gotten a bunch of notes from people around the country that say, "Hey, this is great. It keeps us up to date on what's going on with Creighton, especially the men's basketball team." And so we appreciate you join the show, and make sure and tell other Jays fans about it so that they join and subscribe as well. And we can just keep growing this, and the more it grows, the more things we can do in the future. First off, we want to thank our wonderful sponsors, RTI Threads. RTIthreads.com, not only sponsor of this show, but also sponsor of our post game. Go to RTI Threads. They are exclusive apparel provider of Blue Jay Banter. We got some great Blue Jay Banner stuff coming later that we'll talk about then. And then also they have our, licensed Creighton logo provider of apparel. So you can get anything. It's a great place to go Christmas shopping, and go there now because they're getting swamped with orders, and you know how shipping sometimes happens around the holidays. So the sooner you go, the sooner you're going to get your stuff. I just talked to a buddy yesterday that got a whole bunch of RTI Thread stuff, and he said it's absolutely fabulous. So check it out. It's RTIthreads.com. They've got everything from jerseys to quarter zips, T-shirts, sweatshirts, you name it, they've got it. So check it out, RTIthreads.com. And should mention also, they are a sponsor of the post game and sponsor of our giveaways that are going on right now. So excited about that. And we've got one going on right now with an autographed Jackson McAndrews basketball. So go to our Twitter page at Blue Jay Banner, and you will see how to enter to win that. That entry goes all the way through till tomorrow morning when we will pick a winner. So you got plenty of time to get in and get registered. And then infusionbrewingcompany.com. Infusion Brewing Company, we are super excited about this. We've got an event coming up. We haven't quite nailed down the date exactly, but it's going to be in the first part of December. We're going to have players there, coaches there. If you went last year, you know how much fun it was. We had a packed house, so we'll get that out here very shortly to start to sign up for the event, and it'll be at Infusion Brewing Company. So check it out. And in the meantime, go out there so you know where it is, number one. Number two, go out there and check out their great line of beers. Go into their tasting room, get a flight, sit down, watch some sports this weekend, and taste all the great beers that they have to offer. So check it out, FusionBrewingCompany.com. All right. Well, last night the Jays women took on Northern Iowa in disappointing fashion, took a loss 51-50. Coach Flan just, they were playing a little bit shorthanded. Coach Flan talked about the, third quarter. They didn't make their first bucket till like 3:50 left in the third quarter. So Northern Iowa struggles to score two. So, they had a 10-point lead there at half. If they could have just pushed that out and had some good offensive production there in the first part of the third quarter, they would have won this game. So really disappointing loss. But, we knew, there was going to be some struggles at this time of year with a totally new team, a bunch of young players. It's not like the men where they brought in, transfers who had played Division I basketball. There's so many young players on this team. So it's going to be a struggle for a while. Obviously, we trust in Flan to get things going. And The next step is Wednesday in Las Vegas. I'll be there, so full coverage on BlueJayBanner.com and on our Twitter account on BlueJayBanner. And right here on our shows, we'll talk about it as well. Jays take on Las Vegas at Thomas & Mack Arena. So I'll be over there covering that game and then head back over, and hopefully the men will play on Wednesday later, or the other points is they could play on Thursday. So we'll be covering that game, as I said, on Wednesday. I think that tips off at noon, 2 o'clock Creighton time, noon Vegas time. So as I said, the men are off. They're going to practice today, and then I sure probably get a practice in tomorrow before they leave for Las Vegas tomorrow. They're going to be holed up at the Park MGM where all the teams are. It's a little ways. It's not a long ways, but it is a little ways down the strip from to the north of where Mandalay Bay is. So they get, they're gonna have to bus down to every game, and I think that's kind of not been overly pleasing to the staff. That the players, like last year, everybody stayed right at the MGM, so they could just walk to the arena, and it was so convenient. I don't know what I'm sure it was a sponsorship deal, putting it at the MGM Park MGM, but this year. But I mean, you can, even if you stayed in the Luxor or the Mandalay Bay, you can walk. There's an indoor walkway between the two, and it would be very simple to go to the Mandalay Bay Arena and Mick Alter Arena, I should say, what it's called, to the game. But that's neither here nor there. So let's just hope that we get off to a good start. We've just struggled so much in Vegas lately. Boy, I hope we get off to a good start and get a win over Baylor. I think this is a game that we can win. We just got to start seeing some shots drop, and I think everything will be fine. Obviously, we need to still ratchet up the defense a little bit, and also, just continue with our rebounding, which brings me to a point. Rob Anderson had this out. Creighton is ranked in the 200s in offensive rebounding for the last, 5-6 years, even with Kalk, right? It's just kind of the style we play. This year, right currently, they are number 12 in the country in offensive rebounding. So what an incredible turnaround that is. But, granted, we had such a size advantage versus North Dakota. Now let's see when we play Baylor and Iowa State. Generally, those two teams really offensive rebound. So let's see how it works for us on the defensive rebounding end, and then flip side offensive rebounding end. Baylor likes to get up and down the floor, so we're going to have to get back. So, that might limit some offensive rebounding opportunities. No new news on Jackson. I think it's going to be a day-by-day, game-by-game thing here for a little while until he feels 100%. The thing is we've got these games in Vegas, and then we play a week from Tuesday against Nichols, then Nebraska, then we have another week off. So if it is something that needs some rest, there's a window there where we could give him quite a bit of time off and rest. I'm thinking if it's even an iffy proposition, we won't see him much in Vegas. If he's able to go, he's going to go, and it feels good, he'll go. And they don't feel there's any further damage he can do, he will definitely play. But I'm just saying we could give him this week off, give him the Nichols game off, and hopefully have him ready for Nebraska in some role, and then he gets another week off until we play Kansas State. So I think that would probably be the best thing. By the way, so we'll set you up with the schedule here later on in the show. I just want to mention Kansas State. They had a big win last night down in Kansas City. They're playing in the coaches tournament that's down in Kansas City every year. Creighton's played in that a couple times. And the first game was Nebraska, who jumped out to an 18-point lead against New Mexico, and then New Mexico came back and cut it to 4 several times, cut it to 5 a bunch. They just couldn't get that bucket when they needed to get it to 2 or 3. And Nebraska won. I think it was a 12-point win for Nebraska. And then the second game was Kansas State and Mississippi State. Now, Mississippi State was the favorite in that game, a small favorite, but the favorite in that game. And because they're, borderline NCAA tournament team. Now they've got one loss on their schedule already, but they played a much more competitive schedule than, say, Kansas State, who came into that game undefeated. Well, Kansas State blew them out, a 20-plus point win. They shot great from the field. Nebraska, who had been shooting lights out from three, kind of came back down to normal last night. They missed a lot of threes and a lot of open looks. So it'll be a great matchup tonight, Kansas and Nebraska. Kansas State and Nebraska down at the down in Kansas City. What a great, down in the Power and Light District. That's just a great place to have any kind of tournament. It's so much excitement down there, and there's bars and restaurants right next door, and it's really a fun place if you ever go down there. But at any rate, there'll be a lot of red and a lot of purple in the stands tonight, so it should be a great atmosphere, great neutral atmosphere in Kansas City for that game. But anyway, good chance to watch that game and see. Last night it was on Peacock. I'm not sure. I can check and see where it's going to be on tonight. I would assume it's going to be in the same place, because it's not with the number of tournaments that are kicking off right now, that's not exactly a huge tournament. Not probably like it used to. I mean, that used to be a staple on ESPN, actually. So I should point out there are some really nice games tonight. Hey, if you're working and kind of want to chill a little bit this afternoon and not do as much work, 3:00, Wisconsin and BYU on Peacock. So that's a great top 25 matchup this early in the season. Virginia and Northwestern play. We got the Paradise Jam going, which isn't much of a field anymore. These other tournaments. Charleston Classic is actually probably a bigger tournament than in the pecking order. I mean, it used to be Maui was where you wanted to go. Paradise Jam. You had the Disney tournament. Those used to be the big three tournaments, and now that the Players Era Festival in Vegas, the one that Creighton's in, is far and away the number one, and everybody else is falling. Maui's field is way diluted this year. Charleston Classic has West Virginia and Clemson. That's, at least you get some power teams there. Let me check here and see when. I'm pretty sure that game's tonight. Omaha, by the way, the local flavor, goes to LSU tonight. Getting a nice check there. I don't see that it is, but I'm sure that's a night. There it is. Yeah, 8:30, Hall of Fame Classic final, Nebraska, Kansas State, and that will be on Peacock. And it should be kind of a high-scoring game. The under-over is 168, so you're going to see the ball go up and down the court, and guys jacking up a lot of threes. By the way, on the other side of the Charleston Classic, kind of Big East related, is Georgia and Xavier. Xavier, who has struggled mightily out of the 8. They're 3-2. They take on an undefeated Georgia team who's pretty good this year. So we'll see how Xavier does there. I project a Georgia win on that one. But anyway, so good time to scout one of our next two opponents coming up back to back, Nebraska and Kansas State. So that would be kind of interesting to see how these teams play and how we need to play against them. I'm sure the coaches will be glued to that game tonight to kind of check out. Of course, they get film on it. Doesn't really matter. They don't need to watch it live. But hey, sometimes watching it live, you pick up little things. And so Kansas State and Nebraska. I know, sitting with Coach Miller many times, he would be eating, having dinner over at Let It Fly, and he'd be watching games, future opponents, have them put somebody on that we're going to play, and sitting there taking notes and so forth. So, all right. On to the schedule now. So Creighton plays 11 o'clock on Monday, Vegas time, 1 o'clock Central. Going to take on Baylor, McAlter Arena at Mandalay Bay. And then the following game at Mandalay Bay will be St. John's and Iowa State. And then on Tuesday, they will just flip-flop. Creighton will take on Iowa State at 1 o'clock Central, and the game after that will be St. John's and Baylor. So we'll get a good look at St. John's this weekend, too, this coming weekend. And then we don't know after that. It is like 1,000% up in the air. We don't know when we play. We could play middle of the afternoon Wednesday. If we were so fortunate to go 2-0 and get picked to either play in the third place game or the championship game, we would play later Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening if it's a championship game. And then the other games will just be spread apart. After that, they'll just be spread all over the place. We have a chance to play Thursday night if we end up being in the lower tier, like I don't know what number of game it is, but I don't know what place you're playing for. There's 18 teams in this thing, but we could be playing. There's 2 games on Thursday night, so we could be playing in one of those. So stay tuned for that. We'll be talking more about that, which segues into the postgame show. We'll be having a postgame show after the Monday game. Go live right here on our YouTube channel. It'll be live. Check it out. We'll have a player and a coach. And then the same holds true for Tuesday, the game after Iowa State, same time. These shows should start. It just depends on the setup. Apparently, they've got a spot for us close to the arena, so we'll check all that out Sunday. But they've got a spot close to the arena, so we should be getting on air by the time we get set up, 3:15-ish, 3:30, somewhere in there. We'll start up the feed as quickly as possible and put a sign up that'll say, show starts soon. So you'll know, hey, we're up and running. We should be shortly having the show. And so both those days, and then we'll have coverage of the women's game and the men's game, whether that be Wednesday or Thursday. We'll have another post game then as well. That covers everything with the tournament, everything you're going to be seeing. We will also have Blue Jay Banner Today shows on Monday and Tuesday, where we will do opponent previews of Baylor and Iowa State with myself and Mike Rochon. So we'll do those preview shows. We will not do a preview show on Wednesday or Thursday because we don't know what time we're going to play, and it's too difficult to get that all scheduled. If we may throw another show in there on Wednesday morning, if, for instance, we went 2-0, then I would have some sort of idea that we could possibly play in the championship game. So just watch our shows Monday and Tuesday next week, the morning shows, and we'll let you know what when we're gonna, when we're gonna play and so forth on that Wednesday or Thursday. And then, as I said, the women play 2 o'clock Central on Wednesday. Okay, volleyball. Well, hello. We got the Big East tournament coming up starting tomorrow. And just so excited for that. Obviously, Jay's chance to win another title. Just incredible what they have done. I mean, I'm just telling you, we'll talk here in a minute about the awards they've just announced for the Big East. And no surprise, a real surprise kill here. Ava Martin, most valuable player in the Big East. But the game is at noon. First game on noon Saturday. The first match against a home team. They're going to play Marquette at their arena. And that's at noon tomorrow. And it's on ESPN Plus. And the championship game will be on ESPN 2 on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Yeah, let's have that game conflict with NFL football. That's always fun. So anyway, Jays have a shot to take home another title. Back to like we were talking about. We're talking about the honors that they got, like Ava Martin, Big East Player of the Year. Annalie Mater was named setter of the year in the Big East. And, it's not really a shock that Creighton's going to run away with all these awards. Martin was preseason player of the year, and of course she got to be player of the year as well. A tremendous honor for her. So I can get these. Yeah, all Big East team. So Martin had made her run the all Big East team, obviously. Joined by Kara Reinhart, Jaya Johnson, who really came on this year. Man, she's playing terrific. Abby Hayes earned all freshman honors as well. So Martin, Mader, and Reinhardt were unanimous selections. And I think Kara Reinhardt, it's kind of weird, but I think she goes under the radar a little bit. I mean, she just dominates the middles when she's in there. So it'll be exciting to watch tomorrow. Xavier picked up quite a few nominations too for them. For all Big East as well. So pretty exciting stuff. And the coach of Xavier won the staff won staff of the year, which is well deserved for them because they did a tremendous job with their tremendous regular season in the Big East. And now let's see what they do in the NCAA tournament and obviously the Big East tournament. But again, noon tomorrow, 2:00 Sunday. If we win tomorrow, it'll be 2:00 Sunday. Remember, Marquette took us to 5 sets here just short couple weeks ago in Omaha. So it's not going to be a pushover. So Coach Rosen, I'm sure, will have them ready to go, and let's bring home another title. And then I believe selection show is ready to go on Monday. So we'll find out where the Jays will no doubt be hosting the first round. Outside chance they could get a second round hosting if they would win and somebody else might lose in that, because there'd only be 4 second round sites. So if they were to get in, somebody else, one of the higher ranked teams lost, then the Jays would have a chance to host. Hope they don't get stuck in the Nebraska region, but we'll see what happens. Okay. I think we filled you in on everything going on. Again, obviously it's Friday, so it's the last show this week. Then we'll have a preview show Monday morning on BJB Today. Then the post game after the game. Same thing on Tuesday, preview show in the morning, post game after the game. All those post games will be about 3:15, 3:30ish. And then Wednesday or Thursday, whenever the game's played, we'll have a post game again, and we may have a show on Wednesday morning, depending on how everything flows in. And we'll also be covering the women's game at 2:00 on Wednesday. So that's kind of our schedule. Then we'll take a deep breath, take some time off, and then we'll be back at CHI on Tuesday, December 7th for Nichols game and our post game show there as well. Now I want to talk to you about Vision Brewing. We will be putting out the date for that very, very shortly. So watch on Twitter. We'll be talking more about it at the Blue Jay Banner Today shows, probably on Tuesday. We'll have everything wrapped up. So it's going to be an exciting time. Many of you came out last year, and we had a huge ticket. We didn't charge to get in. We just wanted you to have a ticket, so we knew how many people were coming and what to prepare for. So we're going to kind of do the same thing this year. So it's going to be very exciting. So check it out. That's going to watch us on Twitter, and we will let you know all the information. We'll let you know the information right here on the Blue Jay Banner Today shows next week. All right, everybody, you have a great weekend. And just remember, we want one thing to happen this weekend. We want the Jays to win the Big East title, obviously. And then number 2, we just got to beat the Packers. We can't have the Packers win. All right. See ya on Monday.